Tonight on the Black Channel. Well, Laura Loomer went to India. I know that sounds like the beginning of a very lame joke, but no, this is reality here. And spoiler alert, she went over there literally apologizing and groveling. What? Literally. And another spoiler alert, the Indian hosts were literally giving her the forgive treatment.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man.
So yeah, she went over there apologizing and explaining, and they literally gave her the forgive treatment, although there were some real ones in the audience. We're going to get into that too as well. I will not have you sit here and listen to the entire thing. Of course, it's torment, and my function as the anchorman of the New Black Media, I have gone through the absolute torment of listening to the entire charade, so you all don't have to. Here's the short version here. Apparently, she went over there basically in the role of promoting Israel, because we all know she's really an Israeli citizen. And that was the whole thing here. So the Israeli Hezbollah thing they've been trying to pull off here and whatnot, they sent her over there to make ties to India. So they couldn't have found a better spokesperson than her. I guess they figured they'd just start with the most extreme end of the spectrum, see if they can work their way backwards. So she went to go over there and go speak to them. I'm going to skip the whole first part of this thing. We're only going to deal with the parts that you really want to get to here, because she does a bunch of dancing around and explaining about certain things. And y'all know if it had been over here, she just got toe up from the beginning. So she makes a comment here. I want to go ahead and play that first. By the way, fair use. By the way, before I go any further here, fair use. India Today. Fair use. You're going to have to stand by this. So I want to play for you all one of the first things that she said here, because there are a whole bunch of absolutely revolting contradictions and ironies in here.
Very strong view about women wearing hijab. For example, being a part of TSA or being in aviation security, or people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar being political leaders. Where do both of you stand on that? Where do you stand on that?
Well, I personally am very outspoken in my belief that I think that it should be illegal in the United States for Muslims to hold office. I don't think that you can take your oath on the Quran and also be a loyal representative to the United States of America. You should take your oath of office on the United States Constitution, and we already know that Islam as an ideology is completely incompatible, not just with Western values, but also American values. And if you're taking your oath on the Quran, you're pledging your allegiance to Sharia law, which believes that it is supreme to the...
Okay, so she's talking about what you can't do. Now, she is literally basically an Israeli citizen on American soil. She spends day and night advocating for Israel. As a matter of fact, she's going to talk about Israel a bunch of times here and talk about her whole reason for being here is to strengthen the America-Indian-Israeli alliance. She's going to say that several times during this little conference here. Several times, not once, a bunch of times. So she's sitting up here talking about the Muslim females and about how you can't have split loyalty, and she is literally an Israeli de facto citizen sitting here advocating not for America. She didn't come to India to advocate for America. She came to India to advocate literally for Israel, is what she was doing there. So yeah, that's what she was doing. I want to roll that back just a little bit further, because I want y'all to hear everything that he had to say first, so you can get the whole context of that. But I want to play that again.
Like especially one on the war on terror, and you hold a very strong view about women wearing hijab. For example, being a part of TSA or being in aviation security, or people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar being political leaders. Where do both of you stand on that? Where do you stand on that?
Well, I personally am very outspoken in my belief that I think that it should be illegal in the United States for Muslims to hold office. I don't think that you can take your oath on the Quran and also be a loyal representative to the United States of America.
Okay, can you take your oath on the Torah and be a loyal citizen of the United States. Because if you crack that open, by the way, she wants to talk about that later. I'm just like, okay, Laura, well, you're already basically a dual citizen, basically. Definitely dual loyalties. But yeah, folks, I guess they just decided, let's just send the most nakedly shameless vermin that we could. I guess that was what the Israeli government decided. Let's just go send the most nakedly shameless vermin and see if the Indian media is going to sit up here and fold for her. And if we can get her through, we can basically get anything through. So, yeah.
You should take your oath of office on the United States Constitution. And we already know that Islam as an ideology is completely incompatible, not just with Western values, but also American values. And if you're taking your oath on the Quran, you're pledging your allegiance to Sharia law, which believes that it is supreme to the United States Constitution. So that is a big problem. And you see that when you have Muslims serving in office in the United States, whether it's Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib or Keith Ellison or Zoran Mamdani, who is now the first Muslim mayor of New York City, what do? They put Islam front and center in everything that they do, right? They changed our rules. We had a long-standing rule in the United States Congress of no head coverings, and now you have hijabs in Congress. They openly.
Okay. And what about the Jewish folk like Randy Fine wearing their yarmulkes? Well, we have an issue with that, or you make everything about Islam like you make everything about Judaism? You mean like that? You mean the way you do like that? You mean, are you talking about like that? So no head coverings unless they're Jewish. Like that, you mean? Okay.
Support Hamas. They openly support the Muslim Brotherhood. Ilhan Omar has advocated for members of ISIS in her district in Minnesota, which is the #1 ISIS recruitment location in our entire country. And Zoran Mamdani is campaigning.
Didn't Laura Loomer once try to start like an ISIS recruitment thing in college or something like that, and nobody joined? She wanted to show how many people would join it, and nobody actually joined it and stuff. It's things like that. Okay.
With co-conspirators in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. So how is this good for our country?
But Laura, the campaign that you've built on Muslim leaders, you call yourself, on yourself a proud Islamophobic, but it's not just limited to Muslim leaders. I'll give you an example. There are congressmen, congresswomen of Indian origin that you post on social media about criticizing their work, and you hashtag it with "Go Back to India." They're as American as you are, Laura.
Excuse me?
They're as American as you are, Laura. When you speak of congressmen and congresswomen, and for our audience, those are lawmakers in America, you criticize them, which you should, because that's your right as an American, but your hashtag follows with "Go Back to India." They're as American as you.
Well, with that congressman in particular, right, he barely speaks English. I think it's a problem.
Okay, well, your English isn't fantastic either, but by the way, that doesn't address what she just said. She said they are as American as you are. Well, I mean, yeah, he barely speaks English. That doesn't change what she just said. He's as American as you are. Well, So the Indian hosts here basically fumbled the ball horrifically. They fumbled the ball terribly, whether it was deliberately or accidentally, but they fumbled the ball really inexcusably. They really did. She asked a halfway decent question, and then y'all let her get away with that ridiculous answer? Okay.
India. They're as American as you.
Well, with that congressman in particular, right, he barely speaks English. I think it's a problem. I think that if you're going to be a representative in the United States of America, you need to assimilate. And I think that we need to have a conversation about...
Okay, you need to assimilate. Well, doesn't that mean you shouldn't have dual citizenship with Israel? You should not be advocating for Israel. You should be advocating first, foremost, and only for the United States of America? Because Laura is here at this conference to advocate specifically for the Israeli government. So while she's saying this, like I say, folks, I mean, we have pretty much the sloppiest, shoddiest attempted propaganda that we've probably seen in our adult lifetimes. I mean, I don't think I've seen anything this bad outside of Teletubbies or Sesame Street. So, needless, as I say, I guess they just decided, let's just send the most mentally unhinged, emotionally whacked out psycho that we could find. It's like, are y'all sure this is the best you could do? I understand the pickings are slim, and I get it. Laura Loomer is the best you could do? All right. I can only just imagine that they figured she's the worst case scenario, and if we can slip her by the Indian media and they go ahead and swallow this, then we can get anything through. That's the only thing I can imagine. If we can get the Indian media to swallow Laura Loomer, then they'll take anything. So I can only imagine that was their rationale.
Whether it's acceptable or not for foreign-born individuals to hold office in our country. We have a problem with dual loyalty. And are you truly a representative of the United States of America if you are putting foreign countries first? And this isn't...
Yeah, like folks who say you shouldn't have criticized Israel. We want to make it, you can't divest from Israel. We have a bunch of states in America saying that you can't divest from Israel and do business with the state. You mean dual allegiances like that, Laura? Is that what you're referring to? That kind of dual allegiance right there? I'm just asking here, is that the dual allegiance that you are opposing, or are you going to give that one a pass?
Going to be a representative in the United States of America, you need to assimilate. And I think that we need to have a conversation about whether it's acceptable or not for foreign-born individuals to hold office in our country. We have a problem with dual loyalty. And are you truly a representative of the United States of America if you are putting foreign countries first? And this isn't unique to Sri Thanadar from India. There are multiple members of Congress that were not born in this country. You look at Ilhan Omar in particular. There was a video clip of Ilhan Omar that recently surfaced of her wearing a hijab, speaking in her native dialect from Somalia. And she said that she is a representative for Somalia, not for the United States of America, but she's there to put the Somalis first, to put the Muslims first. How does that support American values? How does that support American interests? How does that support President Trump? And how does that benefit the American people? It doesn't. It doesn't benefit anybody.
Is the American dream only white?
No, the American dream isn't only white, but the United States of America is a majority white Christian country, and I say this as a Jewish woman. And we are rapidly watching demographics become our destiny. Your demographics are your destiny at the end of the day. And just like people in India want to maintain their heritage and their culture, you certainly don't want to be conquered. You don't want to be taken over. You don't want to be replaced. People in America also don't want our culture and our history and our nation to be conquered and replaced. And
Okay, so she says this is a Jewish woman. No, you say it is a white one. So Jewish when convenient. You're not saying that as a Jewish woman. You're saying that as a white woman. She literally just said that. So you're not advocating for you're not advocating for a Jewish majority. You're advocating for a white one. You made that very, very clear. Also, remember, here's the whole thing about these white supremacist frauds like Laura Loomer and Tucker Carlson and the rest of them. When they talk about America is a white country, well, if white people, it needs to maintain being a white majority country. But if the whites are no longer having children, how do you continue to be a white majority without abusing and oppressing and targeting the non-white, i.e. black population? If white people are just having fewer children and the white population is declining, then how do you maintain your majority without oppressing and brutalizing and mistreating and discriminating against the non-white, i.e. black population? How do you still do that? Well, by definition, as soon as you open your mouth to say America's a white nation, what you're saying is, and we have to discriminate. We have to discriminate. We have to oppress. We need to practice white supremacy and racism. We have to practice white supremacy. So that's literally what you're saying. So once you open your mouth to say America is a white country and it should stay that way, then what you've now said is that, and we get to brutalize, abuse, punishment, persecute everyone else in the interest of maintaining the white supremacist majority, even through terroristic means. Suspension of the Constitution and your constitutional rights. So that's what that means. However, she is in India, so when she talks about being white they're not, I don't think they're really that offended.
You are putting foreign countries first. And this isn't unique to Sri Thanadar from... how does that support anybody?
Is the American dream only white?
No, the American dream isn't only white, but the United States of America is a majority white Christian country, and I say this as a Jewish woman. And we are rapidly watching demographics become our destiny. Your demographics are your destiny at the end of the day. And just like people in India want to maintain their heritage and their culture, you certainly don't want to be conquered. You don't want to be taken over. You don't want to be replaced. People in America also don't want our culture and our history and our nation to be conquered and replaced. And I think that it's important for people of all cultures and all backgrounds, wherever you're from, you should be advocating for your interests. You're in India, you advocate for India first. I'm an American, I advocate for America first, and I believe that America should remain a majority white Christian country.
Okay, so she just told you that America is whiteness. See, this is what I need. I need my white supremacists to be honest. See, the one thing they don't want to have to do is have to be honest and frank about what they really believe. So she just said America is whiteness. Well, therefore, when Michelle Obama calls that out and says, well, that's what it means, so I find it hard to be proud to be an American because I haven't felt like an American. Well, then, Megyn Kelly, you can shut your racist ass up, too. Laura Loomer just said it, and Megyn Kelly agrees, and Tucker Carlson and the rest of the white supremacists. America is whiteness. Well, then, when we criticize it on the terms of whiteness and say that as black people, that's the issue that we have, is that America does not speak for us. Laura Loomer just said it. Laura Loomer just said it to the whole world what the issue is. That, yeah, when black folks say that, you should be grateful. You're criticizing America is giving you so much. Oh, you just said America was whiteness. Well, that doesn't represent me. Unless you're going to sit up here and say that I'm supposed to be a happy slave on the plantation. Now, you cannot say that I am a proud, fully vested American citizen and then say America is whiteness. Either America is you and me, or America is you, but it cannot be both. So don't flip your crusty, curled up, bat-like lips to sit up here and get upset when people speak the truth about what you said and what you mean. So either we are all fully vested Americans, or you don't say a damn word when we call out the reality of what you are and what you do. So Laura Loomer just sat there in front of the whole world from India and admitted America is a white country, therefore America is whiteness. She didn't say that America is Christian values. She didn't say that America is Christian principles. She said America is whiteness. That it's not America if it's not white. Oh, man. So in reality, I know they were hoping that none of us would be out there listening to this and catch on to it here. And as I said, if anybody had half a brain, they wouldn't have sent her to go do this because, of course, she's too stupid and imbalanced not to say, if you're going to sit up here and go the other way, you need to just go all the way the other way. Instead, she's, well, let me see if I can just take the edge off my white supremacy here. And we'll see if we can get over on these Indians. Unfortunately for her, the new black media was also in attendance and heard everything that was going on. So, like I said, it didn't go well. It's not going well for that. I'm going to skip forward here just a little bit because I want you to hear what she had to say, because she mentions this kind of thing several times. She mentions this several times, which shows you the real mission that she was on. Talk about dual loyalty and allegiance to a foreign nation. She does this several times during this conference.
Yesterday, and he spoke of how India and America are working close on a critical minerals deal or a trade deal. But some of the comments that come from America are so harsh that they're very
Now, did you all hear what he just said? He's talking about somebody talking about a America and India minerals and trade deal. He says America and India. Watch what she does.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, you just read out a portion of your conversation with President Trump. Shall the twain meet? So, for example, you're sitting exactly where Ambassador Sergio Gore was sitting yesterday, and he spoke of how India and America are working close on a critical minerals deal or a trade deal. But some of the comments that come from America are so harsh that they're very unpalatable.
Right.
So, where is that common meeting ground?
Well, look, I think that the strategic partnership that the United States has with India and also with Israel is one of the strongest, if not the strongest partnership.
Now, you all just heard what that man said. Nobody brought up Israel at all. He said America, ostensibly the country that she claims to represent. And do you all see that she immediately shoehorns in Israel and nobody mentioned Israel, and she sits up here and takes it upon herself to shoehorn that in. So that's whose agenda she's there for. I want to play that so that you all could hear it for yourselves. That man didn't say a word about Israel. Where is she coming out of left field, T-boning your car, talking about, by the way, and Israel? And didn't she just sit up here and condemn people with dual loyalties and dual allegiances? You just heard the man say America and India, and then American and Israel. So foreign agents, anyone? Manchurian candidates and foreign agents, anyone?
Where is that common meeting ground?
Well, look, I think that the strategic partnership that the United States has with India and also with Israel is one of the strongest, if not the strongest partnership in the world. And it's something that I value, I treasure, and I think that more Americans are going to come to appreciate over time. But look, a lot of animosity is felt by the American people as it pertains to the H-1B visa program.
Okay, the white supremacist is going to try to hide my H-1B. Let me explain something to you all right here. Right now, with the war in Iran that America has launched on Israel's behalf, I want to explain to you all the chess move right now. There are a number of people, and I can see why they would say this. There are a number of people who believe that Israel's goal is to weaken literally everyone involved in this except themselves. And that Israel wants to weaken America, and that Israel is now going to make a pivot from America being Israel's best buddy to India being Israel's best buddy, so that Israel is no longer singularly dependent on the United States, and that Israel is about to throw a swerve and start making overtures specifically to India. So they want America to get wrapped up in a war in Iran, which can do nothing but weaken America and run up the debt and financially ruin America. Israel sits back and watches the carnage. And while America is fighting Israel's war, Israel starts making diplomatic and economic overtures specifically to India, because it's not going to work in China, specifically to India. And now we're seeing proof that there's some validity to that statement. If it is not completely true, there's definitely some validity to it based on what we're seeing here now. So if there's a number of people here, and I tend to think that they have valid reason for saying this, that Israel's making a pivot now from America to India, smiling in America's face, and then, okay, let's go ahead and start making connections to India, and hopefully this conflict with Iran will weaken America, and that Israel will be the strongest force in the Middle East, and they'll get hooked up with India, and then just tell America kiss their ass. And so apparently they sent Laura Loomer, of all people, to apparently go and build that bridge, but then again, they have to get this Jewish white supremacist to sit up here and explain away some of these things, and the man's about to get on that here in just a moment.
When President Trump first campaigned for office, when he was running for president in 2015 and 2016, he said that we need to end the H-1B visa program and the...
Okay. Well, I want to do here, we're going to just go ahead and just skip forward, okay? We're going to go ahead and skip forward here a little bit because I want to get to something else. Obviously, you have Laura Loomer, white supremacist archfiend, sitting up here on the stage. This is a woman who has spewed some of the most I mean, blood-curdlingly disgusting, noxious racism, especially and particularly where Indians are concerned. Especially and particularly where Indians are concerned. Let me go ahead and bring this up on you all screens, because in some of the comment sections on some of the videos talking about this particular India Today program, there were some folks who showed. Now, she's gone around deleting her tweets, by the way. What? That was one thing to talk about. She's been off deleting her tweets. Her tweets about India, she's been deleting them, people. So she's so proud of it, she's been deleting them. The problem is she has so many of them that she hasn't even been able to get them all. But some of the folks were able to sit here and go find some of Laura Loomer's greatest hits on India. And she said things like, I mean, in December, just in 2024 alone, silly white people. I mean, now in 2024, so that would have been what? After Donald Trump got elected, December 2024, that would have been after Donald Trump got elected. Well, she was so happy Trump got elected that she said, let the white supremacy on in. She said, silly white people, stop watching Boy Meets World and turn on Bollywood so you can watch rape culture steal your job culture.
Damn!
I'm sure Vivek Ramaswamy and Kash Patel got a big laugh out of that one. December 25th. So people, this is how she was celebrating Christmas after Trump got elected. December 25th, our country was built by white Europeans, actually, not third world invaders from India. Remember this tweet in particular, because you will be hearing it again. You know, it was white Europeans who created the American dream. Actually, pause on that. And we didn't create it so that it could be exploited by pro-open borders techies like you. P.S. Why are people in India still relieving themselves in the water they bathe and drink from? So just like she demonizes Muslims and demonizes Arabs, here she is demonizing Indians and then walking right into the Indian's house, sitting on the Indian stage, big as daylight. Boy, that takes chutzpah, as they say in her Israeli tongue. She goes on December 26th. I mean, this is how she rang in the holidays, y'all. Well, December 25th again. Quote, high-skilled immigrant doesn't have running water or toilet paper, LMAO. Folks, I mean, this was her on Christmas Day. This is a good American here. December 26th. Okay, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. India does have running water. It just runs out of people's...
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
Okay. Well. December 26th, later that day. I mean, folks, over the Christmas holiday in 2024 after Trump got elected, I mean, she went on a tear against Indians. I mean, this was just in a 48-hour period. Take a look at all these slurs you can bring up in just a 48-hour period. Nope. The invaders drink from the same water they bathe and crap in. I have that on video too, coming to a city near you. The average IQ in India is 76. Quote, best and brightest at real Donald Trump. Now, these are just a few. I mean, she's got years worth of this stuff. These were just a few. And she is sitting on the Indian stage and talking to the Indian people here. And I mean, sitting there after saying all this stuff and for years, not months, years. Well, the young lady on the stage there finally gets around to this, finally gets around to confronting Laura Loomer about that. And here's how he goes.
Certain tweets, Laura, which, because you're in India right now, and you know what you've done, and let me say this, it's a feat, because by the virtue of those tweets, you've done the impossible. You've got the left in India and the right in India come together and being uncomfortable with those tweets. So in that way, you know, there's a lot to thank you, because that rarely ever happens in India.
Wow.
But they've come together in the criticism, Laura, of some of your tweets earlier. You've deleted most of them, on what you perceive is your image of India and Indians. Do you regret it? Because you deleted them, so that's why I ask you.
Well, Twitter deleted some of them. I had no choice but to delete some of them, because Twitter actually locked my account, believe it or not. In the aftermath of that, they actually, restricted my account in December. This is what I'll say. I'm not going to apologize for my comments about the H-1B visa program, because my job is to speak for Americans and to stand up for American interests. And our immigration laws have been exploited and abused, and our labor laws have also been exploited and abused. And I'm going to continue being an advocate and a fighter for American workers who are struggling to find employment.
Okay, so as you all can see, she immediately goes back to H-1B and say, well, I stand by that. So she goes off all around the damn world here, but did not address what they just asked her about. But don't worry, she's about to come back to it here in a moment. I just wanted to let y'all know, you see how she just went veering off in another direction.
Because they're told they are not the best and the brightest in a field, right, in Silicon Valley and tech that is dominated by over 70% imported foreign labor, mostly from China and India. What I will say is that I shouldn't have said some of the things that I said in the other tweets, not about H-1B, and I apologize if my remarks offended people. And I'm here in India this week, and I'm spending several days in India, where I'm going to be, traveling the country. I'm very excited to be here. Everybody's been, very friendly. I'm very happy to be able to experience India myself. But I will say I don't have hatred in my heart for India or Hindu people. I'm an advocate for Hindus. I speak out against the brutality of Islam that has persecuted millions of Hindus around the world. And I don't come from a place of hatred. My comments come from a place of love for my people and my country.
So, you all just heard it for yourselves. She literally sits there and apologizes to them. Now, of course, you can't believe the devil, and she is the devil. Let's be clear. She is unmitigated, unfiltered, unadulterated evil. Period. But you all heard what she just said right there. You all heard it for yourselves that she's sitting up there explaining and apologizing. Now, I'm going to let this keep playing because I want you to see what the male speaker does next. I want you to see what he does next, because I got a question.
Where do you see India-US relations go from this place? And personally, I believe you have some good news to share even on the personal front. I believe...
folks. Wow. Just,
even on the
it's just...
front.
I'm like, bruh, you were doing okay there for a moment.
US relations go from this place. And personally, I believe you have some good news to share.
Boy, he turns and start bucking the eyes. Did y'all see that?
US relations go from this place. And personally, I believe you have some good...
he starts turning and bucking his eyes. I'm just like, oh, what is the word in Hindi for cooning? Damn! What's the word for cooning in Hindi? Does anybody know? Can anybody go to Google Translate and see if y'all can... What's the word for cooning in India? I need somebody to stop right quick and see if y'all can go to Google Translate and see if you can find me out. What's the word for cooning over there? I don't have time to look it up for myself right now, but if one of you would be so kind just to go to Google Translate and see if you can go find the word for cooning over there. Cause I'm just like, okay, if he ain't, he'll do till the coon gets here. So I'm just saying, you just heard them talking about her unmitigated white supremacy and hatred toward Indians. And here he is, I mean, just smiling, bucking his eyes, bucking his teeth. Just, that was the way he responded to what he just heard. Oh, gosh, God, even, well, and you also have some good news to give. I mean, it didn't bother him at all. Like water off a duck's back. Oh boy, he was like water off a duck's back, and that didn't bother him at all. Oh, that didn't bother him none. That's why I want you all to see some of the tweets she put out. He saw that there. Oh well. Moving right along. Have you seen New Delhi in the countryside? Man, okay.
News to share even on the personal front. I believe you plan to travel to different parts of the country now.
Yeah, the white supremacist wants to go on a tour of your country, and he's sitting here cheesing. Oh, I heard you were going to go take a look at our beautiful country. That's good. Man, this ain't the time for that.
And personally, I believe you have some good news to share even on the personal front. I believe you plan to travel to different parts of the country now.
Yeah, I actually brought my fiance with me. I just recently got engaged, so I'm getting married, and I thought, wow, it'd be really
some stupid, desperate bastard out there.
Great to do my engagement photos at the Taj Mahal. So I'm going to do some photos at the Taj Mahal for my engagement. It'll be exciting.
How long do y'all think it's going to be before she comes back talking about these dirty desert niggas and calling them all those names she was saying before? How long after she visits the Taj Mahal do you all think it'll take for her to go back and calling these people talking about what they do in the streets and how dirty they are? How long y'all think that's going to take?
Well, congratulations, Laura, on that, on your engagement. And because I am a journalist, so allow me to paraphrase. So you correctly, with what you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you are, where your stand on H-1B visas are, and you don't apologize, you're right, but for certain tweets which hurt the sentiment of the Indian community, you wish you hadn't said those.
Yes, I don't apologize for my tweets about H-1B, because I do believe that it was very disrespectful the way that these big tech social media executives who have predominantly always been Democrat, then they wrote these big checks to President Trump and his administration thinking that they were going to be able to buy influence and come into the Republican Party and the MAGA movement, and that we were going to forget their support for open borders policies and their support for importing labor and their disrespect of the MAGA conservative base. I'm not apologizing for that, but the other comments, yes, I should not have said them, and I hope that people will be able to judge me by the advocate that I've always shown myself to be for
they
Hindu
will,
people.
because India is a really warm country.
Yes.
And they're going to embrace you. You're going to Taj Mahal. You're going to have
Yes.
a fabulous time. They're going to love you and your fiancé, because that's what we do. We have a lot of love.
Yes,
to
and
forgive as well.
I've seen that.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
Oh, please.
Nigga, what?
Auntie, chill.
Y'all thought the civil rights generation was bad. You all thought that the civil rights generation was bad. You just went from this dude over here, I mean, bucking, smiling, every damn, after they just did a rundown of her racist tweets, these two up there on that stage, I mean, they just dismissed that. Him bucking and cheesing, and then the female, you thought she was at least gonna have some sense. Well, you do apologize for that. Yes, I'm very sorry about that. Well, you are in India, and you will be embraced, and you will be loved, and you will be hugged, and we are very forgiving. All I can say is Mahatma Gandhi is somewhere saying, damn y'all. Mahatma Gandhi is somewhere saying, I'll be damned. That's all I can imagine. Mahatma Gandhi is somewhere screaming, I'll be damned. After seeing this, I mean, they was just a buck dancing and a cheesing and just, oh, well, can't wait to start dancing with you. Man, look here. All right. So, yeah. By the way, there's something else I want you to hear also.
Yes,
To
and
forgive Israel.
I've seen that. I've felt a lot of love here in India, and I look forward. I hope to be able to come back to India in the future as well for future conferences and to be a part of this expanding alliance between the United States and India and Israel.
Remember I told you that she was going to keep saying that? She keeps injecting Israel. Ain't nobody talking about Israel. She keeps injecting Israel like Israel's some major player here. We know she wants it to be because she is Jewish first, okay? But, yeah, did y'all see she did it again? You see she did it again, right? Okay, just saying. So, yeah. This is the best spokesperson they could find. This is the best they could do. All right, folks. Well, they were getting ready to wrap this up. They were getting ready to wrap this up, and I'm going to just let this keep playing because I want you all to see how this unfolded. I want y'all to see how this unfolded because at least before she left, somebody decided to give her the work since the damn host wasn't going to do it.
Which my speech is about, so.
Absolutely. In India's culture is all about togetherness.
Yes.
You know, to move together. Sangachadvam, samvadadvam,
Yes.
samvo manasi janatam.
Oh man, you sound like one of them niggas in the NFL, and we just love everybody, and we is all about peace and love. And we're the white women, and that's what I'm saying, y'all. It's just what's the Indian word for cooning? What's the Indian word for it? Because this fella right here, bring on the white women. He is doing the most. He is doing the most. Everything is all about love and peace and happiness and people all over the world join hands and start a love train. And this fella here, I can't take it. He could have just stopped where he was before. So yeah, if you want to know what Indian cooning looks like, there it is. Yeah, you thought buck dancing was confined to the stage. Oh no, Asia got it too. So, he couldn't just let her finish talking and just be quiet and keep some dignity. He just, we are all about love and togetherness and moving together and this and okay, dude. Have some dignity.
Move together. Sangachadvam, samvadadvam,
Yes.
samvo manasi janatam. Is like move together as people together to grow together. For joining us here on this India Today special broadcast, Laura Loomer.
Thank
many
you.
thanks.
Thank you for having
Thank you,
me.
Laura. And I hope you have a great stay ahead in India.
You made a statement. If Kamala Harris wins, the White House will smell like curry, and speeches will be facilitated via a call center.
Oh, did y'all see that? Damn! Oh, hell, old boys there said, wait a minute, before y'all sign off, before we wrap this thing up, since the hosts ain't gonna do their damn job, hey, you said if Kamala Harris wins, the White House gonna be smelling like curry chicken. Old boy said, wait a minute, y'all ain't got off in her ass enough about that racism she been doing. He said, let me stay. I don't give a damn, I ain't got a mic. Okay. They had at least one real one around there because on the stage, it's just real cooning. That's what's going on up there. It's just a damn disgrace. So you can't quite hear him because the microphone's not in front of him yet. They had to run and get him a mic. And I think they said that he's a journalist over there also. He's a news commentator over there. And so he was just like, yeah, damn the signing off. Before we leave, somebody gonna get off in your ass about that right quick. So he said, damn it, they ain't giving me a microphone. Don't worry, I'll shout loud enough for everybody to hear it.
Broadcast, Laura Loomer.
Thank
many
you.
thanks.
Thank you for having
Thank you,
me.
Laura. And I hope you have a great stay ahead in India.
You made a statement. If Kamala Harris wins, the White House will smell like curry, and speeches will be facilitated via a call center. You then went on to say our country was built by white Europeans, not third world invaders from India. I think you should do more than just express regret. From what I can see, you're brazenly racist and Islamophobic. And I'm sorry to say that we have Atiti Devo Bhava in this country where we welcome all, but your comments smack of anti-Indianism, worse still, Islamophobia, and even worse, racism.
Damn!
They had at least one real one in there. They had at least one real one in the audience. No wonder they wanted to hurry up and wrap that up before he could say something. Yeah, they wanted to wrap that up real quick before he could say anything. They didn't want that to happen. Yeah, buddy. They didn't know what to do about him. All right. So, yeah, he said, by the way, I'm going to say what they ain't saying to you. I heard all that mess you just said, and I ain't moved. That don't move me. Yeah, I heard everything you just said, and I ain't moved. You are an Islamophobe, Hindu-phobe, and a racist. So he said, if ain't nobody gonna tell you the truth about your funky ass, I'm gonna tell you the truth before you get up out of here. Don't let them folk up there on that stage fool you. Yeah. We all about love and togetherness, but you's a damn bigot. Okay. So at least they had one real one who smuggled his way into the audience.
Speeches will be facilitated via a call center. You then went on to say our country was built by white Europeans, not third world invaders from India. I think you should do more than just express regret. From what I can see, you're brazenly racist and Islamophobic. And I'm sorry to say that we have Atiti Devo Bhava in this country where we welcome all, but your comments smack of anti-Indianism, worse still, Islamophobia, and even worse, racism, which has no place, ma'am, in today's world. So get real, ma'am. Sorry to say that, but that comments are unacceptable to me as an Indian and as a world citizen.
I will say that
He said, get real, man. He told her, get real, man. He ain't moved by it. He ain't moved by it at all. He said, I don't give a damn what they do with me after today. I'm standing on it. I'm standing on business. He told her, I'm standing on business today. He said, I'm standing on business. Get real. He said, yeah, you ain't faking your way through me. Get real. So, yeah, I think some folks in the comment sections are calling him Indian Unk.
Damn!
Yeah, there was some folks in the comment sections calling him Indian Unk. But he said, ho, get real.
Ho, please.
All right, what did he say? He channeled his inner FBA. He channeled that for a minute. He's like, this is my first time doing this, so excuse me, but let me go ahead and give her the business right quick. So at least he did that. Now, to their credit, if you go down into the comment section, to their credit, okay, I'm going to have to get the damn comment section up here. It's going to be about 40 feet down. So give me a moment to go ahead and get the comments up here. But man, she was sitting up here and oh boy, they were in the comment section. They were actually standing up and talking about they didn't like this. Let me go ahead and show y'all. These are some of the comments. These are some of the comments. They said, unbelievable. How could she be invited to India? Shame on India today. Shame that she was invited. Glad that Rajdeep stood up. Shame on TOI. They really meant India today, and they corrected about that. But yeah. And suddenly, just like that, Rajdeep is a proud Indian. LOL. So I don't know if he got any skeletons in his closet, but today at least he was trying to be. I don't know what they meant by this, but today at least he was trying to be. At the 28-minute mark, I apologize if my remarks offended people. She didn't apologize for the remarks, but because people were offended by them. Some of these folks got some sense. Why aren't there any flying shoes toward her face? I agree. 10-minute mark. This is a death cult regarding Qatar. A Zionist said that on stage. Shame on India Today. Not even American news channels like Fox News give her a platform, but India Today. Shame on the Indian government and the India Today channel who entertain such anti-Indian political activists. Who do y'all think is behind paying for her to be there? The U.S. State Department? CIA? Who do y'all think is behind sending this unapologetic, unabashed, unrecalcitrant, unrepentant white supremacist? Who do y'all think was responsible for sending her over there and then got them folks to put them on their television? Shame on you guys for giving a platform to this individual. Her job is to tell him who is being loyal and disloyal, so she is a tattletale. That doesn't sound culty at all. Shame on India Today to invite her to speak at India Today Conclave 2026. Anyone who is thinking that she's right, check out what she said about Indians before coming to India. Now she's deleted all of it. She hates Muslims, but did anyone tell her Taj Mahal was built by a Muslim king? And the funny bit, she's going there to celebrate her engagement. White supremacists don't care about facts, and she doesn't love your Taj Mahal. She can take her Botox face back to the U.S. Nobody asked for her help. Okay, so I can keep going here, but yeah. I can keep going, but you all see the comment section is roasting her alive. They're roasting her alive. But I've got a more pertinent question here today, folks. My question is, who is behind this? This just seems really weird and really strange. Who's behind this? Who's the hidden hand? Who's paying for it? Who's falling for it? That's the other thing, is who's falling for it? Well, I'll show you some of the folks who are falling for it here. On Twitter, you can see the clip there that we were showing there before. And there she is trying to explain away her racism. And this chick here, Monica Verma, tracking India story, PhD, international studies. Quote, I apologize to Indians for my hurtful tweets. I am an advocate for Hindu people and continue to speak against brutalities on them. Did Laura Loomer have a change of heart? This will be the fate of every India hater few years down the line. Good. And so what this means is that this is yet another Indian who is looking for white acceptance. And they bring on the most virulent Indian-hating white supremacists they can find, and then they check to see how quickly they start bowing and scraping and buck dancing. Absolutely reprehensible. They took India's temperature. And while there's a lot of folks over there who ain't getting fooled, remember, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. So if they can start getting y'all to water it down and start getting you all to start getting weak, and well, you know, we are the good Indian people. We got to forgive. And besides, you know, if she's over here, more white folk will show up. So let's see what we can do to get to forgive. So I wanted you all to know that Laura Loomer went to India and she was apologizing and explaining. But I've got questions about who it is who's behind this, about who it is who's doing this, and do they have anything else up their crooked demonic sleeve? Do they have anything else up their crooked demonic sleeve? I strongly suspect that they do. I strongly suspect that they do. And we're going to have an opportunity to go into that here also as well. because I want to hear from you all here. Why did they choose Laura Loomer, do you think? What was the reason for that? Surely they could have sent like a Ben Shapiro or somebody else who hasn't sat up here and totally vomited all over the bed. So surely they could have done that, but they didn't. Was this an exercise in buck breaking? What was the strategy here? What was the point? What was the goal? What was the aim? Was this a strategy of buck breaking? Did they send her over there to check and see how many folks will leave their souls at the door? Asking for a friend. Asking for a friend. The U.S. State Department, who's behind this? AIPAC, who's behind this? How much money is going on here? And why send her of all people? If you're going to send somebody, why send her? Because you know that she was sent, right? You know she was sent. However, you might disagree. Therefore, we're going to go ahead and pin the Zoom link there at the top of the chat room. And you will have your opportunity to go ahead and weigh in on this subject here at the headquarters of the New Black Media. In the meantime, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support the nice program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out to Nancy King. Nancy King says the male host was bucking and jiving TBA. He is happy to be so close. I mean, wasn't he? Oh, he was doing the most. Shout out to Logic Before Emotion, Tom Slick. Shout out to you there as well. Big shout out here to Mr. Richburg. We appreciate your support. To Mark B, Najee, and everybody else here tonight. Thank you very much for your support here as well. We are going to take a very brief non-commercial break. When we come back, got a few more other things I want to cover here is more. We'll take a few of your phone calls also. This is the Black Channel.
Be the teacher, knowledge on the block. Got the kids learning, minds open like a lock. Books and skills from the east to the west. Bringing education, yeah, we're simply the best. Classes on fire, brains burning with desire. Innovation driving like a tire through the mire. Math, science, history, we got the whole range. Kids hitting new heights, teachers making a change. Used to be the teacher, stacking up the grades. Future bright shining, no need for no shades. Got the youth thriving, moving up the ladder. Smart and sharp, brains growing fatter. Lessons so lit, yeah, they stay in a blaze. Every mind sharp like a sword in the haze. Mr. B in the house breaking knowledge chains. Education kingpin, we ripping the games. Used to be the teacher.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am, of course, your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening as we are discussing, oh boy, white supremacists out there splaining and bucking and jiving and globe trotting. They are trying to get allies. They're trying to recruit more allies here for their global agenda. Whether or not it actually succeeds is a different matter altogether, but they are certainly giving it the old college try now, aren't they? So that's going on as well. But it's not just limited to that. It's not just limited to that because there are others. There are others out there. And by the way, just in case folks were wondering here. Oh, man. You know, it's been a rough ride for Ben Shapiro and them over there at the Daily Wire as they have watched their fates turn and implode. And now they've only got a couple of original band members left, and it looks like, oh, remember I told y'all, oh, Michael Knowles, okay, you might find your ass next up on the chopping block. Boy, when it gets done, Ben Shapiro will be the only one there, and they'll be making about 30 cents a month. Well, folks, this just happened with them. They had to post it on their own damn Twitter page because, the wheels are coming off the wagon. So Ben Shapiro is on his jihad against Candace Owens. And it's like, dude, give it up. Just give it up. Folks are even tired of hearing her talking about Erica Kirk now, but give it up. Well, here comes Ben Shapiro. And of course, like every little mean girls from high school. I hate Candace. You should hate Candace too. Well, now he's told. This time he turned his sights on one of his cast members, Michael Knowles. I want y'all to hear how this went down.
So if Candace Owens decides to slander the widow of Charlie Kirk, I think that people have a moral duty to say that this is a bad thing, even if they are quote unquote friends with those people. So if Candace Owens decides to slander the widow of Charlie Kirk, I think that people have a moral duty to say that this is a bad.
Y'all see dude down here? Y'all see dude down here? Ben, read the damn room, Ben!
Candace Owens decides to slander the widow of Charlie Kirk. I think that people have a moral duty to say that this is a bad thing, even if they are quote unquote.
Man, I mean, even the folk on his team is just like,
Nigga, please.
Ben, read the room. Even your employees are like, well, y'all get on, dude. They're getting paid and they're not even pretending to be on board with this anymore. They're just like, man, take the damn L. Take the L. We are not trying to rock with this. Take the L, dude. Just stop it. So this is your man's. This is your man's on your payroll. He's not even the one that Ben's talking to. And the man, your man's on your payroll is like, bruh, you got Candace Owens derangement syndrome, Ben. We're supposed to be the Daily Wire, not the Daily Candace. Damn. I mean, everything you say is a noun, a verb, an adjective, and Candace. Ben, it's starting to sound psychosexual at this point. It's starting to sound like that, Ben. Ben, is there something you want to tell Candace? That are you mad that Charlie Kirk most likely got to slam dunk it and you didn't, Ben? Because it's starting to get that energy to it. You are just hung up on Candace. You're cyber stalking her. You won't leave her alone. The Daily Wire's talking about her half the time. It's Ben, come on. So even your own damn squad is like, man, quit. Just quit it. Let it go.
So if Candace Owens decides to slander the widow of Charlie Kirk, I think that people have a moral duty to say that this is a bad thing, even if they are quote unquote friends with those people. And I find it an act.
But let's take that further. So obviously one should state one's view and say, you know, Erica's great and the attacks on her are not right.
Well, Michael, I'll just ask you straight up. Is Candace Owens doing something evil by attacking Erica Kirk?
I think that it's wrong to attack Erica Kirk.
No, say the sentence with her name in it.
I'm not going to dance like a puppet for the podcast wars.
You don't have to dance like a puppet, but you are dancing pretty quickly. I mean, there's a lot of tap dancing here.
I don't think there's any tap dancing.
Even if you aren't interested in the podcast wars, the podcast
and I think
the
people who are leading the invective against Candace are her biggest publicists.
So if Candace...
Oh, man. Oh, Michael Knowles. I'm talking about the little cosmic weenie Michael Knowles, Michael attacking black culture, single mom who was actually married, Carmelo Anthony's single mom who was actually married. Yeah, Michael Knowles, that one went on Megyn Kelly because that's where white supremacists congregate. And little old Michael Knowles, the little white supremacist weenie, was he trying to sit up here and get himself a backbone? I mean, how can you help doing that with Ben Shapiro? Y'all been sitting up here cowering to Ben Shapiro of all people. You'll be ashamed to talk to your kids and your grandkids about how you were sitting up here cowering to Ben Shapiro. When they hear Ben's voice and realize that he was only 4'11", and it's like, Dad, you were scared of him? Well, so, I needed the job. Well, take your ass down to Krispy Kreme. Have some self-respect. Why don't you go drive for Uber Eats and keep some self-respect and tell Ben to kiss your ass? How about that one? So, yeah, y'all, it's just the Daily Wire over there. The wheels they're not coming off the wagon. They've come off the wagon. I mean, it's a disaster over there now. It's just a disaster. It's a car wreck. It's maximum cringe. And as I predicted, they are going after each other. It's not gonna stop. The worst thing that could have happened to these clowns was to empower them. The worst thing that could have happened to them was for them to become empowered. You gave them power, and as I predicted, the first thing they were going to do was start knifing each other. And they did. And they still are. And by the way, a lot of folks are starting to realize that Ben Shapiro and this Israel First crowd, that's actually where the heart of the problem is. The New York Post put up a story recognizing, by the way, it's Ben Shapiro versus basically everybody else. So people are starting to take notice that, it's not a widespread problem. It's really just one little group over here. Could that be? Could it be that that's why Laura Loomer scrambled to India? Could that be that that's a part of it? Because they realize that their support in America is collapsing. Could that be the reason? Part of the reason? That they're like, hey, we better go make some new friends because our support in America is starting to corrode and implode, so we better go make some new friends. I'm wondering if that's a part of it. Just asking. So yeah, y'all, over there at the Daily Wire, it's tough. Over there at the Daily Wire, it's tough, and it isn't just tough over there. It's not just tough over there, man. It isn't. It's even tough over there in Bonehead Magaland. It really is. Everyone's favorite white supremacist, non-hip-hopping, non-musically inclined jackass, Kid Rock. Y'all, Kid Rock is upset. Kid Rock is angry. And he should be. Because you see, Trump's Justice Department just let Live Nation and them off the hook, basically. They just let them off the hook. They control the concert industry and all the major venues in America. And Kid Rock is upset. Meanwhile, MAGA president Kid Rock is the one sold you down the river. Kid Rock says, does anyone care about this but me? Okay, Kid Rock, I don't think that's quite the way you meant that sentence. I don't think that's quite the way you meant that. These MFs have been raping hardworking Americans for decades and laughing about it while they do it. This is what the F I've been screaming about for years. It's even worse in sports. Much of corporate America needs to have their pants pulled down. Kid Rock, I mean, after the Osmosis Jones thing and the underage stuff, Kid Rock, the last thing you need to be doing is requesting anybody pull down their trousers for any reason. You about an inch away from being a member of the Epstein class, my dude. You shouldn't be advocating for nobody to drop their drawers. I know it's tempting, but yeah, after the Super Bowl where folks started going back over your lyrics and like, hey, wait a minute now. You about half an inch away from being a member of the Epstein class, and you should not be suggesting, much less requesting, much less demanding anybody in America right now drop their drawers around you. Just leave that off the table altogether. Do like the old folks did. You can whip their ass through their jeans, but they need to pull down their pants. I mean, he puts up a straight ass damn. They need to have their pants pulled down. Bruh. All righty. All right, kid slop. You know, corporate America needs to have their pants pulled down and have their asses whooped publicly. Oh, he doesn't. What do you say? I'm not Jeffrey Epstein. I don't want to do this privately. I want to do this in front of everybody. I don't type this as a MAGA guy or a conservative. I speak my truth as an American who loves this country. God is my witness. Okay, I think it's God as my witness, but in any case. Yeah, y'all, he's upset about the Live Nation thing, but meanwhile, your president just let them off the damn hook, basically. All hands up who didn't see that coming. Your president just basically let them off the hook and said they can basically just go ahead and scoot on down the road. So Kid Rock is upset, yeah, because Live Nation and them been dipping in their pockets and running up the damn ticket prices, and they don't care if you don't sell nothing, just so long as their business model holds. And yeah, Kid Rock and some of the rest of them are getting real salty. They're getting real salty and real upset. And he's like, does anybody else care about this except me? Well, I mean, some of y'all privileged folks out there. Some of you privileged people out there. Yeah, y'all, old Kid Rock, he's not, these MAGA folk are all angry and upset, y'all. The MAGA people are all angry and upset. You got Jewish MAGA who has basically abandoned ship and said Israel or bust. You got the Daily Wire, which has literally become a parody of itself. Folks used to have to go clip clips. Now Daily Wire is posting their own meltdown on their own. Just the clown car has lost its tire wheels and its steering wheel. Kid Rock is whining about Live Nation as if the problem for him is folks wanting a Kid Rock concert. What? I guess he's I can't sell no tickets like that. It's all the fans wanting to go to the Kid Rock concert. All the people who want to go to the Kid Rock concert. All the folks who are lining up for that. All the Karens, ain't no Becky's showing up for that. All the Karens at the Kid Rock concert. So, yeah, they're doing that. They're doing that now. On top of everything else here, folks, by the way, I would be remiss if I did not remind you that there are people out there getting into foreign misadventures as we speak. There are people out there getting into foreign misadventures as we speak. In case you all had not heard about this, in case you hadn't heard about this, coming from none other than Nancy the Thought Mace, because I guess Nikki Haley wasn't slutty enough, I suppose. What? Nancy Mace wants to run for governor of South Carolina. I guess Nikki Haley wasn't slutty enough, I guess. Nikki Haley wasn't sleazy enough. All right. She says the news tonight is that 2,500 Marines are heading toward Iran. I have a lot of thoughts about what comes next, but tonight is not the night for that. Tonight is for prayer for those Marines, for their families, and for the safety of every American in uniform. God bless them all. Yeah, the cracks in the MAGA wall are all over the damn place. The cracks in the MAGA wall. Yeah, there's some folks not liking that because she's not like, oh, go get them, boys. But what they're saying, remember, we covered this a couple of weeks ago here. All the MAGA folks, Steven Crowder and the rest of them who were claiming, oh, y'all are being panicans. This isn't going to lead to a bigger war, a bigger conflict. There are not going to be boots on the ground. And what do you know? A week and a half later, sending boots on the ground. After Trump told you that everything was in hand and everything was fine. No, don't worry. We can win this from the air. Remember, I had a caller last week. We can win this from the air. I said, no, you can't. A week later, boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. Saw a couple of females mixed up in there. So, Miss Strong and Independent, I'm so glad you strong and independent. Now pick up this duffel bag and this ammo pack and load your ass up on this C-17. You are heading for the Gulf. Yeah, you wasn't in the line of fire when you were standing in Georgia. They sending you to the Strait of Hormuz to be straight in the line of fire. So watch out for them drones. Watch out for the missiles. Watch out for the occasional submarine torpedo. Watch out for that. Because y'all are on your way to the Gulf. You gonna earn that little GI Bill this year. You gonna earn that this year. So if y'all been sitting around and haven't been keeping your equipment in good gear, because I think that might have happened on one of the planes and a cargo plane that went down. Okay, if they ain't been doing the maintenance, well, you about to be in that plane. So, yes, sir, boots on the ground. And by the way, do you think these are the last ones they're going to send? By the way, do you think that these are going to be the last ones that they're going to send? You think this is the end of it, or do you think that this is the first of several groups that they're going to be sending? Do you think that this is the last 2,500 troops they're going to send? Or do you think that these are the first 2,500? Yeah, anybody check in with Steven Crowder to see if he still wants to be a know-it-all and for him to reassure us of what wasn't going to happen and what isn't going to occur? All the folks he was talking about, they should be speaking up right now. They're not really saying very much because, yeah, they don't want to destroy their fellow white supremacists. But by the way, I've kept tabs on it. So, yeah, I saw that. On top of everything else here, folks, just in case you missed it, this is happening here also. Cuba enters its 8th straight night without power as protests spread across the island. Now, this might be propaganda. America's very, very good for that. But no fuel shipments in 3 months. That's America's fault. Bakeries running on firewood. And now Havana is talking to Washington for the first time because they have no other choice. Well, this is America's fault to begin with here. It's not the Cuban government's fault. But, yeah, y'all, what they say, the lights is out. I'm not going to play the volume here because I don't want them sitting up here rattling y'all's ears, but the lights is out. So, yeah, they're trying to. I told y'all Cuba was next. I told you Cuba is next. And what they say, Havana is talking to Washington. Havana, I would just like to remind you in Cuba, if you think that talking to Donald Trump is going to end well, you better ask Venezuela and Iran how that went for them. Remember, Iran was literally in the middle of diplomatic talks both last year and last month when America started bombing them. They were in the middle of so-called diplomatic talks. They were, quote, talking to Washington, and they on the phone with Washington, and then stuff going boom. Hey, wait a minute now. On the phone with the White House right now. And Trump said, that nigga. So just in case you think talking to Washington ends well, you better ask Iran and Venezuela how well it ended talking to Washington for them. Just in case you think that we're talking to them to restore normalcy. No. No, we ain't having that. So, yeah. Yeah. By the way, I don't want to do this. I don't. I really don't. But I'm going to do this anyway. Simply because it's been mentioned. Simply because it's been said. Simply because it was posted by this outlet. And I guess it's the law of unintended consequences when you go clout chasing and you start demanding to be famous and demanding to be well known. There can be unintended consequences about that. Case in point. Damn! From the Daily Mail. Manosphere influencer. What influence? And by the way, do y'all see the picture they got of him? Eyes bucking. Only thing he's missing is some fried chicken and some watermelon right here. That's the only thing he's missing. Somebody could Photoshop it in right there and it would just fit just fine. But anyway, Manosphere influencer Myron Gaines accuses Louis Theroux's woke Netflix documentary of, quote, making him look crazy with bad editing. Myron, it doesn't take editing to make you look crazy. It just takes replaying it. All they got to do is replay you. You're the one who brings the look crazy. They making me look crazy. They ain't making nothing. They're just, all it takes is replaying you. You're the one who makes things look crazy. All the rest of the world has to do is replay you. Just put you on rewind. Netflix documentary making him look crazy with bad editing as he's dumped by girlfriend after bragging about plan to have 2 wives.
Nigga, please.
Alrighty then.
Oh, y'all, did he try it again? Did he try to get out there and make the world think that he was some master of masculinity and that all the girls just love him and they're beating a path to his door? And oh, man. Who is that fella, y'all? Johnny Somali? Is that his name? Is that the little screwball noodle neck dude got himself caught up over there in Korea acting a fool? Is his name Johnny Somali? Is that his name? I think his name is Johnny Somali. That's where they find these cats. Y'all notice they're all the same? Such weird looking noodle neck dudes and whatnot. It's just a bunch of craziness going on, and all of them think they're going to have a harem. They all think they're going to have some kind of harem or something. And it's just like, man, the damn jokes write themselves, man. The jokes write themselves. 2 wives, he can't get 1 girlfriend. But the national media is like, by the way, we bombing on them. So it's, yeah, it's that. So in case y'all wonder what he was up to, Myron is very upset because he can't get no respect. They're not putting any respect on his name. And by the way, do you see the Daily Mail put the word dumped in capital letters? Damn! They wanted y'all to know of all these things on here, they put the word dumped in all caps. Myron is mad. They upset, man. They're upset. They're angry. They don't know what to do about it. It's a damn mess. It's a damn mess, and they don't know what to do. So you wanted to make headlines. You wanted to get attention. You wanted folks to see you. Congratulations. You made headlines. They see you. You wanted to be on Netflix. Congratulations. You're on Netflix. Just not the way you thought you were going to be. You wanted to be famous. Now he can tell everybody, hey, there's a documentary on Netflix about me. But he doesn't want anybody to go see it. So ain't that something, y'all? There's a documentary on Netflix. But please don't go look at it. Yeah, this fella made a whole damn documentary and got me in it, but please don't go watch it. I need y'all not to go looking at it. They making me look crazy. Okay. All right. So, yeah, y'all, this was going on too. I don't know how I would fit this in anywhere else. I don't know how I would shoehorn this in anywhere else. So I saw this and I said, I can't let this just go unacknowledged. So I have to say something. I'm not going to do a whole program about it. It doesn't warrant that. It doesn't deserve that. But yeah, when I told you 5 years ago, the red pill was dead and the manosphere was dead and they're all a bunch of idiots and clowns. When I said that, there were folk who argued, that ain't true, the red pill live where go fish me. You just hating it. They run, they ain't right. Okay, well, congratulations. You guys are on Netflix now. I don't know if this is going to make you all the chick magnets that you thought it was going to do, but yeah. Yeah. That's happening. Lot going on here, man. A lot going on. Folks are staking out their claim. They're staking out their piece of the territory. They're doing their best to move the pieces on the global chessboard. Everybody's trying to figure out how they're going to get their piece of the action and their piece of the game. They're reorganizing stuff. A lot of people who were supporting white supremacy before, or still supporting it now, are going to find themselves in the unenviable position of discovering that when you feed a vicious animal your foot, figuring that you will satiate him, well, if I just give him my foot, he'll leave me alone. If I just feed him my foot, he'll be satiated and he'll leave me alone. And next thing you know, you see him coming back. Damn, I know I just said I was going to eat your foot, but nigga, I didn't know you was that tasty. Oh, man, now that I found out you that tasty, let me get this calf right quick. Let me get this drumstick. Yeah, let me grab that calf right quick. Let me get this drumstick going. I'll stop after this. I promise. Just another bite. Just one more. Nigga, you can limp through life. Let me get that calf. All right, then some of y'all are dumb enough. Well, I mean, if I give him the calf, I mean, that's pretty damn big right there. That'll hold him for a while. And it's, all right. And he's like, I'll be damned, that calf was scrumptious. That calf was scrumptious. Oh, man, now I'm looking at them thighs, boys. I love the dark meat. What? Damn. Oh, I know I said I was going to leave you alone, but I'm looking, them thighs look succulent. Them thighs are looking succulent. Just a taste. I know I'm doing the most right now, but just a taste. So, yeah, I got a feeling that there's some other folks out there who've been dabbling with white supremacy all this time. They've been dabbling with it all this time, and they're now making the bargain. Well, I can feed Laura Loomer my foot. Well, yes, and here's the thing about it, y'all. Like, you can't even lie with Laura Loomer, man. It's not like there's even plausible deniability. That's the crazy part. I mean, only a buck dancing coon like Myron Gaines would give Nick Fuentes a pass. That's why he's a damn outcast and we had to delineate. Post haste. They over there in India, and I'm talking about we running down Laura Loomer's greatest hits. She has called y'all dogs and trash and denigrated you up one side and down the other gleefully. I mean, all on Christmas weekend. Everybody else is singing carols and talking about goodwill toward all men. And she went to social media and to say, Christ is born and I hate all of y'all. And this is what she spent the Christmas holiday of 2024 doing. She wasn't spreading the holiday cheers. She was spreading the holiday jeers. What? She said, forget a holiday. This is a hater day. So, I mean, she just spewed unapologetic, unfiltered, anti-Indian, straight hate, crime, racism. I mean, uncut, unfiltered. You can't say that was a momentary lapse in judgment. I mean, she was giving them the business. She was giving them the business. And what does Indian media do while they bring her up on stage and make her a special guest and ask a few lightweight questions and then say, all right, nothing more to see here. All is forgiven. The host of the program declares that all is forgiven. The male host was sitting up there cheesing, bucking his eyes, and Laura Loomer was like, okay, I'm going to visit all your spots like she's Keith Lee, going on a restaurant run. Laura Loomer telling them she's going to go tour their country like she's Keith Lee looking for a new eating spot in L.A. This woman has sat there and spent years talking about you and your people like a dog, and then y'all acknowledge that she was deleting her tweets, and then she shows up. Well, I shouldn't have said that then. I apologize. Okay, well, all is forgiven. We are people filled with our hearts with love. And okay. Soon as Laura gets back over here, if you think that this is going to last any length of time, you wait till she gets back over here and them Indians jump on her page. Soon as them Indians jump on her page and start criticizing her, watch her start invoking her white supremacy again. Watch her start doing that. And then she'll go back to India and, we'll do it differently. We're going to do it differently now. It's not like that. Then she'll be telling them, well, if you don't want me to talk about you, If you don't want me to talk about you crapping in the streets and calling you filthy, then maybe you need to quit crapping in the streets and stop being filthy. That's what she's going to say when she comes back. When she comes back, that's what the energy going to be on. See, white supremacy is spreading its wings. It's spreading its wings, and in the case of Zionist white supremacy, what they're doing is checking to see if there's any more soft targets left, and hard to be a soft target over here, so it's not working out the way they planned. So now they're looking for greener pastures. They're looking now for greener pastures. And one of the things they've been doing is sizing up and specifically targeting the people who have had a Anglo fetish. Notice I said Anglo. The individuals who have specifically had an Anglo fetish. These societies that have been harboring Anglo supremacist tendencies. Low-key. All these places that we've been pointing out now for decades now, and we've been warning people about for decades. These places with their caste systems, and what do you know? Laura Loomer literally sits there in India advocating for an American caste system. That's why she was saying that she stands up for America like that. She stands up for whiteness. And you stand up for India, so she's saying, see, we got that in common. You see, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. I'm a white supremacist just like you. So what they're doing is testing and taking the temperature of everybody to see if they want to be on board. That's what it's about now. Sizing you up and seeing if you want to be on board. So you can get white mommy's approval. To see if we can work and see if you can get white mommy's approval. If you can do that, do you realize how long some people have been waiting for that, man? They've been waiting decades to get white mommy's approval. Case in point, I want to show y'all something. Take a look at the female Indian newscaster's hair. Take a look at her hair. Now, take a look at Laura's. Damn! The Indian, Laura. The Indian, Laura. Damn near the same tint. The Indian, Laura. Coincidence? Take a look at the way she's dressed. Take a look at the way the Indian chick here is dressed. Now, y'all know there's Indian channels on YouTube, and them women wear their Indian clothing. You take a look at this chick right here. I mean, she looks like she's auditioning for a job on CNN. She looks like she's auditioning for a job on CNN. And that's what they go looking for. They go looking for them in the chat room. Javon, you right ahead of me there. I'm going to get right to it. I didn't get to touch on this earlier, but I'm going to get right to it. They're auditioning for a job with CNN. They're auditioning for a job with ABC. So they want folks to understand and see that right there. That's what they're really going for. And they're checking to see everybody who desires to be in. And that's what they're really measuring for. Who is it who desires to be in? And of course, when she was asking questions about wearing the hijab, what they should have done was get Laura Loomer to sign off on everything and say, do you have a problem with Indian women wearing the red dots on their foreheads? See if Laura Loomer respects your people and respects your religion. Tell her, do you have a problem with Indian women wearing the dots on their foreheads and running for Congress? Do you think that's not American enough? That's dual loyalty? Because you don't think yarmulkes are dual loyalty. So what about Indian females with the dots on their heads? Since you have a problem with the hijab, what about that? Notice they didn't ask her that. Now, folks, you know full damn well they're in India. They were more concerned about hijabs than their own culture. What does that tell you? Sounds to me like somebody told them don't ask certain things. Sounds to me like this was intended to be some image rehabilitation to try to mainstream Laura Loomer. And that's going to go about as well as mainstreaming Nick Fuentes did. These blatant, sloppy, shoddy attempts to mainstream these white supremacists, whether they are Latino white supremacists like Nick Fuentes or Jewish white supremacists like Laura Loomer, these attempts to mainstream them are doomed to failure before you even start. You are not going to be able to legitimize Laura Loomer. Her track record is too long, too filthy, and too repugnant. You're not going to legitimize her. It's a fool's errand. All you have to do is start rolling out her tweets, and that's a wrap. But that's for domestic audiences. Understand that. See, this is a time where India will be tested. This is the day and this is the moment where India will be tested. And India is going to be tested to see if they have any sort of national dignity and self-respect. When a blatant white supremacist comes in your midst and you think that you need to make friends with this. Let me say something to you here, people. There is a pride you can take in whom you allow in your front door, and there is also a pride you take in who you don't ever allow in your front door.
And deal with it.
There's a pride you take in the folk that you say yes to, and there is a pride that you take in the people that you say, oh, hell no to. Now, I will not go so far as to say that the national media in India speaks for all Indians. I am not going to say that because that is simply untrue. However, how India as a people respond to this, how India as a people respond to this is going to be key. It's going to be key. This is going to determine the trajectory of Indian society, whether or not, even in their colorist caste system, whether or not India bows to Indians, or whether, as just at the beginning of the 20th century, India was a British colony. And now at the beginning of the 21st century, India is going to answer the question whether they will return to being an Anglo colony. They've already been mentally and emotionally colonized. They've already been that. Now we're about to check and see just how deep the rot goes. We're going to see how deep in the wood the rot is. And that, I believe, is what Laura Loomer was sent there for, was to check and to see just how deep the rot goes in the wood and to see if they can get them to equivocate. see just how desperate and interested in being with them that they are. You see, understand something. This is why we have had to move the way that we have when white supremacists show up. When the white supremacists show up, you see, we have had people who have properly educated us. When Laura Loomer shows up, we don't just say she's racist. We call it specifically what it is. You are a white supremacist. Shout out and honor and privileges upon his name to Brother Neely Fuller. May he rest in power. Who taught us that you need to be very specific about this. And I must say, I am glad that we here honored Brother Neely Fuller by making sure that he saw and witnessed in his lifetime. Do you understand what that man did? He saw and he witnessed in his lifetime that the national dialogue about racism changed specifically because of his work. All the way to the White House. They were no longer calling it racism. They were calling it white supremacy. From him and the compensatory code system concept all the way to the White House. His life's work made a difference. And he got to actually see it. And he got talked to about it and he acknowledged it. And of course, in true Neely Fuller style, he said, well, we got that done. Now on to the next thing. All right, we ain't sitting on our laurels. We got that done. On to the next thing. Because it's not just enough to acknowledge white supremacy. Now you have to deconstruct all of its tools and instruments. So in true Brother Neely Fuller style, that's exactly how he took the news when he heard that, okay, the president and stuff are talking about this white supremacy. It's okay, well, he's like, all right, don't expect me to dance no jig. These other people are being tested. And of course, the first law is going to see if you can break them mentally and emotionally. You see, trying to break us is too damn hard now. Trying to break us is too damn hard now. So what they are conceding is that that's a damn bridge too far. They've taken a look at what the young are doing, and the young are not signing up for racism, Zionism, or anything else. It's a new day. So you see people now cutting bait and seeing if they can pivot and take a different tack because they're looking at what the young are doing, and the trajectory is crystal clear where this is going. So they're retreating to higher ground, and they're retreating to safer ground because, yeah, what they could get away with in days past isn't working. They're looking at the trajectory of how things are going, and they can see this is going in a specific direction. White supremacy is not getting stronger, it's getting weaker. It's not getting less notice, it's getting more notice. It's not becoming less of a target, it's becoming more of a target. And now they're conceding that white supremacy's demise is a fait accompli, which is why the richest of them, they're trying to move their wealth, they're trying to relocate their assets, they're trying to do something else in a place where white supremacy's privilege is still thoroughly acknowledged. They're looking to take their assets now to a place where white supremacy is not so deeply challenged anymore. They're looking for safer ground. And clearly they're looking to places that historically have been friendly to white supremacy. The 10 tons, 720 degrees of analysis you'll receive absolutely nowhere else. If you want to know what this is all about, they're now looking to go back and recolonize and resubjugate these areas of the world that historically have been friendly toward white supremacy. South America, Central America, the Caribbean, East Asia, Southern Asia. They are looking for the areas that have been historically friendly toward white supremacy to see if they can yet again be friendly toward it. And now they will bring their money and their goods and whatnot. Please understand that that is the goal of many of them, is what is the fallback position? What is the fallback position? Because they're taking a look and they understand Trump has screwed up things so damn badly that there is 0% chance that you will be able to keep this going. You were so blatant and so over the top and so heavy-handed in what you did. Instead of you handling this situation more tactfully and strategically, instead you all went hog damn wild and went full white supremacist, and as a result, you have destroyed your own beachhead. And America's position is very clear that they cannot wait for their opportunity to reverse course. Now, what do you think is going to happen at the government level, at the academic level, at the corporate level? When Donald Trump becomes a lame duck president, which it looks like is about to occur this calendar year, what do you think's going to happen at all these law firms that Donald Trump and Laura Loomer and them targeted? What do you think's going to happen? The law firms that they targeted, the media companies that they targeted, the schools that they targeted, the businesses that they targeted. What do you think's going to happen when that pendulum swings back the other way? What do you think Elon Musk's fortunes will be when his bought and paid for president is no longer in the White House? What do you think's going to happen to them then? Need I remind you all that just a few short years ago, Laura the lame brain Loomer was literally in tears, screaming and crying and beating on the doors of Twitter's headquarters like a lunatic. What? The video is online if you want to see it. Need I remind you all that just a few years ago, Laura Loomer was completely unhinged. Oh yeah, one more thing. One more thing. It almost skipped my mind here. It almost did. As a matter of fact, let me make sure about that. Let me just make sure about that there. Just to make sure I'm clear on that. I want to make sure I'm clear on that. See, Laura was sitting up here, and I mean, she had a full-blown meltdown. She had a full-blown meltdown there because she wasn't able to have things the way that she wanted. So she sat up here and I mean completely melted down. That was what happened to her when she couldn't get the privileges that she wanted. When she couldn't get those and couldn't have those. That was what happened to her. That was what happened to her when she did that. She couldn't take no pressure. She wasn't able to take any pressure at all. She wasn't able to do that. That isn't what happened. Laura wasn't able to take any pressure whatsoever, so just understand she's hanging on for dear life. She's hanging on for dear life at this point. She's hanging on here because she understands that this is the last ride. This is the last ride for her. She's going to try to hang in there as much as she can because this is the last ride. Let me go ahead and show y'all here. I just wanted to make sure I had done that. Wanted to make sure I had done this properly here so you know I'm not making things up. Damn! Yeah, y'all, from the New York Post, right-wing newspaper, if we dare call it paper. There's Laura Loomer. Far-right activist Laura Loomer handcuffs herself to Twitter HQ. And there's some guy who's trying to marry this.
Boy, what in the hell's the matter with you?
She files frivolous lawsuits all over the place. She files frivolous lawsuits all over the place. Folks, I mean, everything I say, you can go Google it and check it. I don't have to fabricate nothing. Everything I say, you can Google it and check it. Laura Loomer literally handcuffed herself to Twitter's headquarters. Literally. That was what she was doing 8 years ago. This is what Laura Loomer was doing. Now, can you imagine marrying this? Okay. You think that she's dealing from a position of strength? Is that what you think's going on? She's hanging on for dear life because she understands after this, that's a wrap. After this, that's a wrap. It's not going to be no more easy dollars to be made. That's not going to be happening. And the folks behind her, I guess they figured that, well, she's the most useful idiot that we have, so let's just go ahead and use that. She's the most useful idiot that we possess, I guess. I guess. This kind of stuff is important. I want y'all to remember that, not because we want to boost them or anything, but it just goes to the mind state of these folks. These are their agents. These are their agents, man. So India better button up and fly right. You better button up and fly right, man. If Laura Loomer is able to pull the wool over your eyes like this, if Laura Loomer can do this, man, what the hell? What the hell? These are the folks they sending out there? Okay. All right, this is what India was sitting up there fawning over. Okay. All right. Not done just yet. Not just yet. I want to make sure of a few things here. I'm sure she'll go along with this. I'm sure she'll be happy for it. I want to go back here a little bit further. Let me show you all on your screens here. By the way, I don't bring receipts. I bring invoices. I don't just tell you what you paid. I tell you what you owe. You all can turn your eyes to your screens here now. What? Damn! This was Laura Loomer just last year. It says, I can't believe we don't have live PD anymore because of that crackhead George Floyd. Bring it back. Live DC with DJT. To which somebody responded, Grok, why can't Laura own a firearm? To which, as you see on your screens, Elon Musk's Grok says, Laura Loomer has stated that she can't own a firearm due to federal law 18 U.S.C. 922 G4, which bars possession for those involuntarily committed to a mental institution.
Damn!
You mean like this? You mean like that? You know, people who do stuff like that. NBC News, far-right activist Laura Loomer handcuffed herself to Twitter's New York City headquarters for about 2 hours to protest the company's banning her from the social media platform, then asked police to remove her. Okay. All right. Yeah, folks, any mental problems here? I can't imagine you got the Baker Act put on you. Can't imagine it. Nothing wacky, crazy here. Nope, nothing at all. She mentioned past Baker Act's holds, plural, in Florida as the reason. Past Baker Act holds, plural. Plural. And there's some guy who jumped up to marry this.
Boy, what in the hell's the matter with you?
This is the spokesperson that Israel and the U.S. sent to India, and India's commentators were sitting up there cheesing. This is the person that they sent over there, and their commentators were sitting there taking that heifer seriously. They were sitting up there cheesing and grinning and taking her seriously. She literally handcuffed herself to a damn building. By the way, that would have been a nice question for them to ask about her mental and emotional state. That would have been a good question for them to ask. By the way, just mentally and emotionally speaking, couldn't help but notice you're prone to handcuff yourself to buildings and things, and you're here to give us advice about what to do here. Just couldn't help but notice, that's a little wacky, isn't it? Little wacky, isn't it? And old dude was sitting up there grinning. Let me go ahead and get him back up here for a moment, because I want folks to see that, by the way. So while this woman here who's handcuffed to handcuffed to doors in New York over her Twitter account, this same chick here who handcuffed herself to those doors on a Twitter account, and here's the damn news commentator sitting up here cheesing. Not a word about that. And she got the nerve to talk about anybody. They need her and Myron Gaines to go on a date. Hopefully they won't have children, but yeah, they need that. They need that. So India is going to be tested now They are checking to see if India is about that business. They are checking to see if India is solid or if they can carve India off to be retrieved back into the white colony. I got to tell you, if history is any indicator, the odds for India are not good. Maybe India will follow our lead here in the foundation well enough to save themselves. We will see. That's the only hope for India now, is that enough of them follow the example of the foundation in America. That's the only hope for them, because they had a blatant, unapologetic white supremacist sitting in their midst, and they started giving the forgive talk. And if they don't sit up here and give hell to their commentators and start calling out their news media for this buck dancing, coonery, and buffoonery, if they don't call out their own news media, just understand this cancer will spread, because Laura will not be the first nor the last. They will find others to send there. Next thing you know, the Indians, probably starting with the females, will start identifying with it and then giving it a pass because they didn't put up a fight here at all. One of the men in the audience put up a fight, but the women didn't put up a fight at all. And that is not a very encouraging sign for their future. So, Laura Loomer went to India and apologized, and India gleefully accepted it. We'll see what happens to them next. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, holidays. Laura Loomer, we know what she does with her holidays. Some days in between, so click that subscribe button and that notification bell. Join us each and every time that we are here. If you haven't been to blackchannelfilms.com, check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.